Hi, my name is Rachel, and I live in the beautiful mountains of western North Carolina. It is here where I live with my husband Tristan and my kitty Roxy in a little community outside of Chimney Rock. The mountains are such an amazing place to live, and it has given me the beauty seen in my art. The flowers, animals, and surrounding rivers have given me the endless supply of inspiration. We are going to learn how to make this stunning woodland animal frame through the art of paper cutting. Paper cutting is an art I've pursued for the past 10 years and is a hobby of meditation, like knitting or painting is for some. To start making this paper cut, you will need to download and print the stencil from the website. Along with the stencil, you will need a pencil, a cutting mat, drawing paper, sticky glue dots for framing, a cutting tool, and fresh blades. These X-Acto blades can be bought from Amazon in a pack of 40, and they are perfect for cutting. Remember to also change your cutting mat, for it also gets worn out. You will notice that the image only prints on half the paper. This is okay, since we will only be tracing half the stencil. Make sure that when you're tracing that you can see the printed image behind the paper clearly. If you find that the image is hard to trace due to the thickness of your paper, try using a light box. If you don't have a light box, try holding up your tracing to a bright window or bright computer screen, wherever there may be light so you can better see the trace. I like to trace lightly so that my pencil marks are not seen through my finished project. When we finish cutting this project, our pencil marks and rough cuts will be on the reverse side of the paper, so that way it will look crisp and clean. When you are done tracing, your drawing should look like this. In preparation for cutting, go ahead and fold your paper in half. Now that we have begun cutting, let's start cutting the inside details of the animals and plants. Cutting little circles for the eyes can be a little intimidating, especially when working with 2 layers of paper, but I simply cut tiny little square shapes for animal eyes. When cutting the details for animal fur, I cut little sharp slits as seen here. In case you were wondering, the tool I'm using is a Fiskars brand that sits very nicely on my pointer finger. For long periods of cutting, I like this tool since my pointer finger is not strained like it would be if holding a straight blade tool. Again, I am cutting all the inside details before I start cutting around the animals and plants. I do this so that I do not risk tearing the paper or accidentally creating a fold when moving my paper around. Having a sharp, fresh blade makes all the difference in the world when cutting. There have been times when I've come short on sharp blades and I've continued with a dull blade. I've gotten the job done with a dull blade, but my edges are less crispier. With a sharp blade, my shapes and curves are much smoother. Notice again how I use a square shape for the eyes. This is much easier than trying to create a circle. Great work, you guys! I always get so excited about my work when my details have finally been cut. This is now what your work should look like. Let's now begin cutting around our plants and animals. I like to begin in the center of my work and work outward so that I do not risk my hand getting in the way of any accidental folds. Taking away big chunks of cutout paper feels so great. I feel like I'm making big progress. Again, I am working in the center of my work and working outward so that this way I don't risk any unwanted folds. Be careful when removing this chunk of cutout so that you do not tear your flowers. Sometimes the paper likes to get hung up on the flowers. Great progress, you guys. You should feel real good about your hard work. This is now what it should look like. Now that we have all the inside details and center work done, let's now cut out the outside border. Notice how I use my pointer finger to hold down the delicate areas. I would recommend doing the same thing so that you have better control of cutting. Looking good, you guys. Your paper cut looks beautiful. Let's now continue with the top of our paper cut. Now that we have most of the cut completed, let's move on to the ribbon portion. This is where you will be putting your personalized name. It is important to recognize in this step that you cannot cut past the tied bow of the top ribbon until we have written your name. Once you've cut to the ribbon, very carefully open your cut. This is now what your cut should look like. With your pencil, draw a straight line across to connect your tied bows. This line will be where your letters will be hanging from. My last name is Wicker, so I am working from my center letter to the outside letters. Notice how I am writing my letters backwards. This is very important since our finished work will be flipped over. I am once again cutting my inside pieces before cutting around the letters. Your name may be much longer than my name, in which case you can make the top ribbon droop more to allow more space for letters. It is very important in this step to use your extra fingers to hold down the paper while cutting. Now that you have your letters cut, very carefully cut between each letter. When lifting the last and final piece of paper, do so very slowly and with the tip of your tool, lightly hold the paper. Congratulations! You have now completed your paper cut. To frame your beautiful cut, lift the plexiglass backing off the frame and center your paper cut onto it. Take your sticky glue dots and place one on each corner. Don't forget to also place sticky dots on your 5x6 photo. Gently place the right side of the paper cut face down inside the frame and fasten it in place. These folding frames can be found at many craft stores or online. I think they are the best frames because the paper cuts pop against any accent wall in your home. The music in this video was played by Tristan Wicker. Thank you for taking the time to learn how to make this paper cut. I love to do this craft, and I hope you enjoyed it too. You can see many of my other works on Etsy under the name Rachel's Custom Design, no spaces, or Instagram under the name Rachel Marie Bowen, also no spaces. Paper cutting is one of the oldest art forms and has existed since the Chinese invented paper. I would say your paper cut will last for a very long time, and it will certainly be one of the centers of conversation in your home.